So the laws for cannabis legalization are an illusion. They're a deceptive lie. And in this video, what I'm going to do is I'm going to break down and show you why cannabis legalization on the current path that it's on right now is not what the average person thinks. Hey guys, what's going on? My name is Chris from Ambrosia Buds, and I've been preaching this for a while, guys. If you don't know, I'm a big advocate for craft cannabis and small-time home growers. And what I'm going to do in this video is I'm going to break down how the laws aren't what you think, how they're going to affect you or not affect you in the future, but how they're already affecting the states that they're in place of. And I'm not just going to bitch about a problem, I'm going to give you a solution. In the description of this video, I'm basically going to lay out a framework of how the laws can be written in order to protect the integrity and the small time grower. Okay, I think to start this out, I'm gonna start with when I got busted. When I started growing cannabis as an income, as an actual full-time job to put a roof over my head, I was in my early 20s. Okay, yes, what I was doing was completely illegal. I was doing it at a scale much larger than what's legal now in my state and what I'm doing now. But it was, and I did it specifically for the economics because it was just way cheaper. It was way smarter to grow your own than it was to go pay the price at that time for what cannabis was. When I got busted, it was my state's intention to financially cripple me. And what do I mean by that? I risked losing my house that I owned. Luckily, it wasn't paid off in full yet, so they couldn't take that. And I wasn't worried about them chopping down all the plants because I could just grow those back. But it was all about the $75,000 I had to pay for a lawyer, my trial, then all the equipment that I had invested, and not only that, but the genetic breeding program that I had been doing for years. So getting busted, the punishment was to financially cripple you. Now, when you look at cannabis laws right now, and to a point, it's probably going to be impossible for you to recover from. So when you look at the cannabis laws now, a lot of these states are offering what's called a social equity program. That's a fucking joke. Okay, the social equity program is like an olive branch saying, hey, sorry we did these things to you back in the day and you got arrested and had to pay all this money, but we're going to make it easier for you if you want to get into the cannabis industry now and make a living off of it. That's a joke, because the social equity program, as good as it looks on the surface, it doesn't mean shit when the laws that have been written, created, developed, and engineered are specifically for big business. They're specifically designed for corporate cannabis, or what's known as MCOs, multi-state operators. And in my previous videos, and you can go through the comment section below, and everyone that lives in states where MCOs have come in completely agree with me. And everybody's also completely agreeing with me that the laws need to be more laser focused towards protecting the integrity and benefiting the small time grower. And that is not how it is. Basically, what you need is a shitload of fucking capital to get started. Prime example, I live in the state of Virginia. Virginia has had a medical program for years, and our new governor, Abigail Spanberger, is basically saying to the people, to the pharmaceutical companies that got the pharmaceutical license to grow cannabis, you give her 10 to 15 million dollars and you can convert that license into residential. They knew that was going to happen, and that's why they didn't mind paying the price up front, because they know in the retail market they're going to make a shitload more of money. It's just more, it's more marketable, it's more profitable. And what that does, it's like, what made me go viral was saying the Walmart of weed. So it's pushing all the mom and pops out, everybody that you know basically dug the hole and started the foundation for this industry, have the love, the passion, the craft, and the integrity for it, are going to get eliminated simply because government are greedy fucking whores. So I don't agree with the way these laws are written, but there's a way around it. And like I said, in the description below, I'll have a basic framework. This is a rough draft, dude. I'm not a lawmaker. I don't have a lot of time to do this between growing, living a full-time life, and filming videos. But it's common sense, okay? And I'm going to give you guys prime examples how the law right now is a joke and how you can fix it. For one, make whoever gets a license a resident. of the state for at least 2 to 5 years. That's the same as capital gains. You have to live in a house for 2 to 5 years, or 2 of 5 years, in order to avoid capital gains tax on the income of real estate that you flip. Why can't you incorporate that same concept into licensing? Meaning, if you want a license in the state of Virginia, you have to have lived here 2 of 5 years. That slows down how MSOs, because what's happening right now is there's multi-state operators that are basically just waiting for the laws to flip because they're just going to come in and take over, and they have the capital to do it. And then when you have somebody like me who got financially crippled during my trial, my incarceration and everything, it's going to be harder. It's going to be a slower start. What you've done is you've allowed MSOs or corporate cannabis a head start into the game when you should be delaying their start and allowing the mom and pops and the craft growers that. You should be respecting the people that did all the work all these years, but you're not going to, because the government's not worried about the concern or the safety or the harms of cannabis on a society. All they're worried about is the fucking tax revenue. It's all money. And there's a complete reason why these states are flipping at the pace that they are. Yes, I know, rescheduling got pushed back. A handful of states have gone recreational, but there's a reason for that, and it's Wall Street. This all revolves around money, and I'm going to make a completely separate video that breaks down how Wall Street is controlling cannabis and the cannabis laws and why that's a bad thing. But guys, if you like what I'm talking about and you agree with me, do yourself a favor, ring the notification bell, subscribe to the channel. It's the typical YouTube stuff, but it does help me, and share this video with other people. But let me get into how you can make things a little bit better when it comes to the laws. So minus making the person that, making people be a resident of the state that they want a license in, also offer micro licensing. Not everybody wants to grow a 10,000 or a 100,000 foot canopy size, because that's how they're going to end up measuring these licenses. What if a small time grower that's just growing the 4 to 6 plants just wants to, bump it up to like 20 to 100 plants? Because what you have to realize, if you haven't done this at a large scale, is when you're running a full-time operation, it's labor, it's overhead, it's utilities, it's work. So the way the laws are written right now, you're forcing people to go big or go home. Not everybody has to go big. Why can't people go small? And the small time guys, the micro licenses is how I refer to them, should have a break as far as the cost, obviously the cannabis size, and they should also have a consumer direct sale policy where that small time grower doesn't have to go through a wholesale grower if they're producing so much in order just to sell their product. But what the state laws are doing right now, and they're just copy and pasting each other, they have multiple layers of tax. So, it's distribution tax, marketing. Well, now they're getting into the marketing tax with the rescheduling. It's just tax, 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 tax. The government wants to cut out everybody that's done all the work so big companies can come in and give the government the most money they want. It has nothing to do with the respect for the culture that's been developed over the past fucking century. So, no, I do not agree with legalization right now as far as the way that it's being modeled. And I don't think that the average small time grower who actually knows what the fuck they're doing should go and get a license. We've been doing this without licensing for fucking years. And if we come together, we can beat the MSOs, okay? We really can. But we have to fucking unite. And that's hopefully what this video will help do, is unite everybody. So share this video with anybody else.